Hey y'all, I'm back, honey. I am back, and listen, it's time for us to talk about Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Okay, now let me say this. I noticed that they had below the deck, they had that logo at the top of the episode, and then right after that, they put up Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Now, I've never watched Below the Deck, because I feel like everything took place on a damn boat or a yacht or whatever the case is, and I'm just like, listen. I don't think that show is that entertaining for them to constantly renew and all of that. I don't see a lot of conversation about it on social media or anything, right? But after watching such an entertaining episode, this past episode of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, I said, you know what? This was such a good episode. And I really feel like the crew members helped it be even that much more entertaining for me. And I said, you know what? Because I ain't think nobody was watching the show, but if Below the Deck is anything like this past episode, I said, baby, I get it. I get it. I get it. Because I was like, why they keep renewing this show over and over? Like, why y'all keep renewing this show but canceling some of the other good shows like Southern Charm, New Orleans, right? Or which one was it? Martha's Vineyard. I believe it was Summer House with Martha's Vineyard. It's like, why y'all keep canceling our shows but you keep renewing this mess, right? And that still stands true. I still feel that way, but at the same time, I will say, okay, if it's about this piece of entertaining, I get it. 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 I get it a little piece, honey. All right. Really good episode. I don't know if any of these people, because again, I haven't watched Below the Deck. So y'all have to let me know if some of these people we saw on this particular episode that were crew members are actually on the show Below the Deck. Let me know. Right. So shout out to them for yet another good episode. Let's get into it. So Bronwyn, the ladies are getting ready to head to I think it's Canawan or something like that. So Bronwyn text Whitney to let them know, like, hey, I won't be catching a flight with you guys. You guys go ahead, but I'm still coming on the trip. I will be there. All right. That's just gonna go down. Now I saw how they tried to play it up to make it seem like Brahman wouldn't show up, but of course, like I was like, she gonna come. She probably just not gonna come at that time, but she coming. And I'm glad they followed it up with confirming that she is gonna come. Now they go out there to Canawan, and the guy said that it's the billionaires playground. First person I thought about was Epstein. I don't know what's really going on over there at Canawan, but yikes. The billionaires playground, when I hear that, I hear that there are no rules. And it might be rules, but for me, I'm hearing with billionaires, they got all this money and stuff. You got enough money because money gonna get you, it's gonna get you all kind of passes, right? With money, we can overlook things. You can do whatever it is that you want to do. So just what the hell is the billionaires doing over there in Canawan? And I hope I said it right, but y'all know what I'm saying. Let's keep going. Now, Heather says that she's familiar with the captain because they met previously and they hung out for like a week. Soon as she said they hung out for a week, I said, I know Heather threw that cat at him. I know Heather threw that cootie toy at him, and I know that he took it. If he hanging out with you for a week. Oh, okay. Now Angie gonna sit up there and tell the crew that they'll never work so hard for their money in their life. I said, whoa. Groundhog. Well, like, first of all, what that mean? Well, huh? And you better pay us accordingly. And when I heard one of I think it was the chef that ended up saying he mocked her later on in the episode, and he was, I hope that reflects in y'all tip. I said, I know that's mother right, sir. All that big talk, y'all never have worked so hard for the money in y'all life. Well, you better pay me accordingly, boo. No, that's right. So the captain is ready to get them wet and in the water, and they said, huh? You mean the other way around? That's what the crew member said. Like, he's like, oh yeah, because you're a very handsome captain. So everybody's thinking about getting wet, especially Miss Brittany, honey. Ooh, y'all, the more Brittany is on my screen, it sucks because she has funny moments at times. But honestly, the more she's on my screen, the more I dislike her, the more I feel like she's a disgrace just a little bit with how I see her, go crazy over these men, but not her kids. And we'll get into it. So Lisa is ready for the yacht. She says, girl, this is going to be so nice, especially for Angie, because she usually is in an RV. I said, damn, Lisa clocking her right out the gate. This is crazy. So Angie says that she's never been on a yacht in her life. Pretty much confirming what Lisa's saying, right? She said she never been on a yacht in her life, but she's gonna keep her distance from Lisa. But she said I could just stand next to her and make my ankles look small. I said, girl, I love the whacking. The whacking in the confessional, hilarious. Okay, let's keep it going, ladies. So Brittany is in male heaven. She's over here melting over men, but could barely figure out a damn conversation with her own daughter. Ugh, ugh. You over here coming up with things to say. It's coming popping off the top of your damn dome with these men, but the daughters that you birthed and raised, You can't even come up with a damn small conversation to have with your daughters while you're sitting in the coffee shop? Disgusting. Disgust me. Just a little piece, all right? Now, all while having Jared come to the house and help her get ready for this damn trip. And we'll get into that in a second, right? She also got a damn unicorn berry that he didn't gave her as with his voice on it. I said, I just it just ugh, not her daughter's voices, not a unicorn with her daughter's pictures on it, with her daughter's mommy I love you, mommy I love you, mommy I love you, but Jared ass. Brittany, what else happened to you in your childhood that you need and you yearn for the acceptance of a man or something, the desire of a man? Like it's so disgusting to watch for me. It's so disgusting to watch. And maybe I wouldn't trip so much off of it if she wasn't even a mama. If you ain't got no kids, you out here just living, existing, you want to be up under this man, that girl, date around, whatever. But it also shows the way that she kind of hops from this guy to that guy and stuff. It just made me feel like, girl, you in this Jared situation ain't even realistic. It's not even real for real. It's just not. I hate that you keep bringing this to us. It's not a real relationship talking about y'all got engaged. Like, it's so full of shit. Anyway, the ladies picked out their rooms. They picked their roommates or whatever. Bronwyn ends up being stuck with Brittany. And Brittany over here tripping out because, oh my God, we're probably going to kill each other. And I said, y'all be over here over exaggerating y'all issue with each other in my personal. Because then y'all just hang out and we going to see that at a later time too. But I don't know, child. I mean, they got a weird relationship because Bronwyn over here hanging out with the girl, but you really don't like her for real, and vice versa. Okay. So Brittany lets the ladies know that she is feeling the captain and she's interested in him if he's interested in her. And I said, girl, this is how we know that your relationship or whatever you got going on with Jared ain't even real. Because honestly, for me, even if you and Jared decided to take a break, you would also take a fucking break. Didn't you just talk to Whitney about not wanting to? I could have sworn she just talked to Whitney about focusing more on her daughter. But since you and Jared taking a so-called break, you're ready to jump and hop and skip over into the bed with the next nigga. Like, you get on my nerves, girl. So she says her and Jared were taking a 30-day break, but he showed up to help her pack. Nah, bitch, he showed up to help you pack because you asked him to, more than likely, and you had already been in conversation with him. So what are y'all taking a break from? Whitney tells her if she says his name at all on the trip, then they're going to splash her with that water. So she's like, Jared, 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 Jared. Okay. And they hit her with that water, 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 water. Now, I'm going to tell y'all right out the gate, they wouldn't have been able to play them fucking games with me. Like, don't do that. Don't do that. Because if you, I'm going to have to get you back. Like, why are you putting water on me? I just couldn't. I mean, we too grown for that. Don't do that to me. So Bronwyn is on her way, right? And she doesn't know what she's walking into. She said she knows the ladies discussed the situation, right? But she also has, Todd's words in the back of her head because she's concerned about how he feeling and stuff. But she just wants to go on this trip, have fun, enjoy the ladies and their company, and she hoped that they feel the same way about her. And I'm like, Bronwyn, I'm here for you, but the way I'm gonna have to tag you this episode, okay? I really, really like you. However, girl, I don't know why you think you could be able to. I don't know why you think that you could come on a trip and think that nobody's gonna talk about your situation. It's not gonna happen. So Bronwyn has her lifesaver outfit on, and Lisa's like, "Oh, I've seen that before. I've seen it on IG." So they show us photos of Bronwyn wearing it in the past, and I'm a little confused. Why is she not allowed to repeat outfits? BIT, we need to get out of that. If you bought it, it's for you to wear it more than once. Get your money's worth out of it. I don't care if she wore 2 Halloweens in a row. Girl, okay, that's being efficient in my personal. Right? That's not really feeding into a piece of capitalism for me, girl. You out here wanting to wear the same, wear it again. Okay? Maybe that's an annual tradition. Every year for Halloween, I dress up as a damn lifesaver, bitch. I don't know. But anywho, so um yeah, that's what they got going on. Lisa tells Angie that she feels like Bronwyn has a lot on her plate. And Angie says, well, what have you saw? And Lisa responds, especially after trying to, retaliate against me. I said, this piece right here sticks out so much. It's so key for me, Lisa. You said Bronwyn got a lot of stuff going on. Miss Girl Angie asked you, what have you saw? Instead of you saying what you saw, you just responded with, especially after trying to retaliate against me. She's going through a lot, especially after trying to retaliate against me. Like, that to me kind of sounds like You did this. You put that information out. And the fact that you keep saying the word retaliation and retaliate for me, it gives that you are the one retaliating. That's what it sounds like. But let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's just keep going, right? So Angie asked, that question or whatever, what you seen or whatever, and she didn't really say what it was that she saw. I just thought that was like interesting. So Brittany says, "Well, I know things and you know things too." I said, "Ooh, ooh, 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 ooh," not Brit clocking you about the things that you actually know, that she knows that you know. So have you and Brit also been having a conversation about these things? I wouldn't be surprised if they did. I wouldn't be surprised at all if they did have a conversation about this whole Bronwyn thing, right? I mean, they all do. They all be having conversations about each other. Like nobody at this point really should be surprised at anything these ladies are saying because I mean they all talk. That's what they do. Okay. It's a circle of people that they cool with. All right. So um Lisa says that she's not going to say this is Bronwyn's karma, right? She says, but you coming for me real hard and you got your own skeletons out there. Right now, although I understand what Lisa is saying, I feel like this bitch, my motherfucking skeletons was sealed. Ho, be very, don't put your hands on me. My skeletons were sealed, bitch. Your skeletons were in the press. Be very clear about that. And yeah, of course, I may have did a little piece of digging and maybe I shouldn't have did that digging or whatever, girl. But be very clear. My shit was sealed. Somebody went and intentionally dug my shit up. Your shit was put out into the press. It was published, okay, in our local paper, girl. So, what you mean? You coming for me and you got all of this going on. Like, I mean, yeah, because your stuff is current as well. That's another thing. Not only are my records sealed and it's old, your stuff is happening present day. And it was put in the press. So, yes. Okay. But let's keep going, right? Although I don't disagree with Lisa, because I do feel like Lisa got a point. Like, you got your own SHI. You over here digging up into me. Well, just wanted to show you that you could be dug into too, because be very clear about it. Bronwyn did not have to go look into Lisa's court findings. Bronwyn chose to go look into that lady's court findings. Whatever was in the press records was already out there. It was enough for a conversation. But you went deep diving on that, being nosy. You know why? Because you felt the way, and I can't fault her for that either, because Lisa went and dug into a situation that she didn't have to dig into by asking the jeweler about a necklace to prove to us that Bronwyn don't got it like she says she got it, or whatever the case is. All because your ass had to take a flight in coach or whatever it was. This is where all of this came from. Okay? A flight in damn coach. And then I think also with how Lisa wasn't showing up and supporting Bronwyn last season. But anywho, let's keep going. So, Brittany, when Bronwyn arrives, of course, Bronwyn learns that she's gonna be rooming with Brittany, and she's just like, "Listen, girl, my name ain't Jared." And because they heard the name Jared, they doused Brittany ass with water again. I say that's when I would have had to draw the line. Like, girl, y'all going too goddamn far. Okay, like let's too far. But Brent shows Bronwyn her Jared unicorn when they get in the room. Bronwyn's like, "Grandma, throw that shit overboard." Listen, they done gave us so much in the first episode of them being on this yacht. I don't even know what the hell they finna get into next. Cause keep in mind, at the top of the episode, we see a unicorn in the ocean. Now, I don't know if that's gonna come from Bronwyn throwing it overboard, as she said, or if that's gonna come from Brittany doing it because Jared done pissed her the hell off. And that's gonna be crazy if they Whitney could do it too. Because Whitney now knows about the damn unicorn. So if it's thrown into the water, I don't know if it's gonna be a joke, if it's gonna be intentional, but we shall find out. Okay. That's okay. I'm not opposed to it going into the water, but we'll see how it plays out. Okay. Now, Bronwyn, I'm sorry, not Bronwyn, but meanwhile, while those ladies, Bronwyn and Brittany, talking about that or whatever the case is, you got one of the crew members that have found a cucumber in somebody's luggage. Now, when I first saw it, y'all, I thought that the cucumber belonged to Mary. Then I started thinking when I watched it the second time, and I said, you know what? Mary is in her room at the time that they found this, right? Because I felt like this is something Mary would do, like real particular. Y'all, I think the cucumber belongs to Brittany. I don't know why, but I truly believe that this is Brittany's cucumber. I don't know why, I do know why. Because Brittany is so hard on for men. And obviously, she's a sex addict, which is likely why Jared keeps her around because she'll probably do anything. I feel like she about got that cucumber, but I don't know, but she probably gonna make her a salad. She probably gonna toss her a salad. I don't know what that lady finna do with that thing, but I think it's Brittany's. Let's keep going. Now, Meredith asked Lisa about her thoughts on Bronwyn's situation and if she'll bring it up. And Lisa says, I think that if she bring it up, I think she's gonna give us an iteration of the truth. And Meredith is like, well, girl, I just want an honest answer. And I'm like, she don't owe you shit. High key, it's closed and it's sealed. She don't owe you a damn thing, ma'am. But let's keep going. So Britt asks Bronwyn where she's been, and Bronwyn is just like, I almost didn't even come because somebody in this group is planting stories about me. That's what's going on. And Brittany says, oh, you think it's somebody in this group? And Bronwyn says, yeah. She says, so the Grand Theft Auto thing, that's not true. And Bronwyn says, no. And it's changed damn near 18 times. That one minute they saying I'm doing this, then they saying it's that. It's like, which one is it? Pick one. So then she says it's disgusting and it's manipulative. And I just feel like somebody's trying to dig into my past at the end of the day. So Bronwyn's, and keep in mind, I'm with Bronwyn on this as I think about it, only because the records are sealed. Right? So that's something she never thought she'll have to bring up. It wasn't like it was something that she did, because I believe what she's saying, right? Y'all ladies who has come to the front, majority, 95% of that shit has been stuff that's currently going on in y'all lives, not no damn 10 years ago. Okay? It's actually happening. Okay, Brittany's business actually went down. She's actually having to restructure, actually having to figure out her get back, her return, her comeback. All right. Lisa, you being sued right now. All right. Meredith, whatever stuff you had going on was likely right then. All right. So, like, let's keep going. So, Bronwyn says she isn't embarrassed about her past, though. Right? She's not embarrassed by it. Britt says everyone is, wondering if it's true because it's public record. And Bronwyn said, no, bitch, it's not public record. That's the first thing you need to understand. Okay, it's not public record, and it's bothering me that y'all been over here talking about it behind my back, but ain't nobody called to see if I was okay. Now, let's be clear. I agree and disagree. I don't think it's right for you to feel like it's an issue for people to be talking about it behind your back, because that's all you've been doing too. It's talking about it behind Lisa's back. And I don't think that you called anybody to check on them either. However, I feel like when Lisa had her situation, there were some people that called and checked on her, i.e. Meredith, i.e. Heather. So whoever's closer to Bronwyn, it's like, damn, ain't nobody call and hit her up and say something? Not even Whitney. Like, I would think, Whitney, you're the closest. Whitney, you didn't call and say, hey, girl, are you okay? Just want to check on you. So I could see her feeling a way about that. Like, damn, you could at least hit me up. Because Whitney, you was over there talking about it with these two other people. Right? So I get what she's saying. Like, yeah, they could have hit you up, but I'm heavy on the part where I disagree with the fact that you feel like they can't talk about this behind your back when you just coming up to the damn boat and you don't even know what they've already said about it, said about the situation amongst each other. So you know they're talking about it. So why you want to feel away? Go away from us with this. So Bronwyn confirms her eviction was 20 years ago, right? She says a case from 10 years ago came up. She says the case was about identity theft, grand theft, and fraud, but it was based on the penal code that was attached to the case. So it could have been about one thing. It could have been about identity theft. It could have been about fraud, right? And keep in mind, when there's a penal code, there could be different things attached to that one code that they're putting to this particular case. But one of those three things are the situation. And if it's about Bronwyn's past business, I would want to believe that it's about fraud and not necessarily identity theft. It could be identity theft based on what she worked in, and if one of the employees or somebody like took over somebody's identity. Okay. But I'm gonna lean more so towards the fraud with the situation, right? She says the case is sealed. She says it sucks because it affects Todd and his business, right? Brittany is just like, interesting. Brittany giving that interesting for me at that moment. I needed to break that down and understand, why are you saying that? Is it because you looked into some information and it's showing up differently than what she's saying? Or what? Like, what is this interesting about? Okay. Now, I in this moment also, y'all, for me, one, right now the focal point is Lisa. A lot of us believe that Lisa did it. I believe Lisa did it as well. However, she's not the only option that I have. I'm starting to also wonder about her daughter's grandparents. You came on the show last year. You kind of, not necessarily you, but you were honest about your story, and it made them feel away, right? When a lot of people in the town may know exactly who you are who they are. And I'm like, damn, could they have leaked some information about your ass to show some tea about you? Like, don't try and disparage us, even though I don't feel that you did, but that may be how they felt. Don't disparage us on a damn television show and think that we're not gonna drop your tea or drop certain information about you. Right? So that has been a thought, just a little piece. Just I don't know. 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 I'm just telling y'all what my thoughts are, right? Now, Whitney wasted no time once they got to lunch asking Bronwyn if everything's okay. And Bronwyn says, it was a lot going on, and a lot of that upset Todd, with people digging in her past and stuff. It made him feel like, she was better off staying at home and not coming on this trip. So Meredith is like, girl, I don't really give a damn about Todd. I'm really trying to get into this information. So, girl, like, I saw stuff that happened 20 years ago. So tell me about that. And Heather said, girl, I saw stuff 4 years ago, like in 2021. And then Brahman was like, girl, I ain't got no shit with me from 2021. So cut that out. But 20 years ago, yes, I got kicked out of college. Duh. I thought I talked about that already. I got evicted. Who cares? Yeah, I'm sure some of y'all may have evictions on your damn records, or somebody that do. Like, it is what it is, girl. I got an eviction, okay? 20 years ago. Can't do anything about it, right? The other thing was not only that, but she had that case from 10 years ago, not 4 years ago, right? So Heather is bringing up the charges. She said, but what about the charges though? So Brown says, there are no charges about me, girl, from 4 years ago. It was 10 years ago where I cooperated with authorities. The charges against me, I felt, was basically dropped. That's how it sounded. She, like what she was saying to me. I cooperated with them for either one, the charges to be dropped against me, or I cooperated with them in an effort to not have the charges go up against me. And it could be that she did have charges because she did contribute to some type of fraud, right? And it resulted in her flipping on somebody, and they ended up going down for it. And unless that person is still locked up, I would think that they'll be out here singing like a damn bird, potentially. Who knows? Maybe that person or persons could have been trying to expose her. But then also, it could mean that she genuinely had nothing to do with it. And if you don't help us out and tell us what's going on, then we're going to charge you with this too. And she's like, I don't want no damn charges, okay? Don't ruin my damn life, honey. Don't do me. Let's just go ahead and get all of this out in the open. Let me just help y'all, get y'all whatever information y'all got, because I ain't do shit. And I would hate to go down with charges of some shit that I didn't do. All right? So there's that. People be charged all the time for something that they did not do. Right? And they have to fight to get that stuff off. Now, Bronwyn, I will say this. You be giving tongue twisters for me. Right? Because you sat up there and said something like, well, this new thing people are trying to say is that yada, yada, yada. Is that about my job and this and that? And it's like, what do you mean they're trying to say? They did say, and you are pretty much sitting here confirming that it did have something to do with your job back then. They are trying to say that some type of fraud, identity theft, or whatever the case is, took place with your job. A situation happened with your job that you were involved in. That's not trying to say, like, that's literally what the hell it was. Now, what they may be trying to say, which is not a fact, is that you were charged and you weren't. Right? According to her, she wasn't charged. She has no mug shots, none of that. That may be what she was trying to speak to. Like, that's the thing they're trying to say. That's not attached to me. But yes, there was a situation that happened. I cooperated, gave them information, and it is what it is, right? So she says the charges went through, but they weren't on her. Like, yes, some people got charged, but bitch, that ain't had nothing to do with me. Heather had the audacity to ask, then why is this so upsetting? Why you think? Why you think? Because people put narratives out there about me and don't even got all the facts, because they don't even got all the records, because the records are sealed. So they're making up their own narratives and their own stories because they don't like me, bitch. How would you feel if somebody did some shit like that about you? Like, why would you think it's so, like, why do you think? Did you not just hear what I said when I talked about how it's affecting my husband and likely his business, bitch? Which therefore then affects me, and it's about me? And how Bronwyn shows up, she's going to feel extra guilty as if she did all of this and she's the one to blame. Like, bitch, is you cool? Like, are you not listening? Like, where is your antennas at? Like, girl, are you okay? Right? So, anywho, now Bronwyn says that she and her husband feel like someone from this group may have done it because no info has started happening or coming out about me until after I joined this damn group. True, but also ever since you got, additional fame of being on the show. Now, Whitney asked, how are they getting detailed info to spin it if the case is sealed? And Bronwyn's like, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's weird. And Lisa says, I don't think it's weird. You dug up information on me. I don't think anybody would dig up information on you. You know what I'm saying? But it was a little bit of retaliation on your end or whatnot. But I don't believe a single person here would do something like that. Everybody looking at Lisa like, girl, what? You sure? Because you would never say that. None of us would do that after you've sat up here and blamed us for doing shit like that to you before. You've blamed us as a group. And now you're saying you don't believe none of us would do it. So I'm like, y'all, I think Lisa probably was being sarcastic because that didn't make no damn sense. Like, girl, what? So now people looking at you like, so you must have did it. Oh, okay then. And Lisa like, girl, don't y'all try to spin this shit on me now. Don't spin it on me. I ain't got nothing to do with it. So Heather in the confessional, like, listen, Lisa telling on herself. You saying that, oh, you can do it to me. Nobody would do it to you though. Type thing. Heather's like, girl, you telling on yourself. Heather asked Bronwyn, well, who you think did it? Right? And Mary was like, you think Lisa did it? And Bronwyn says, I'm not gonna say no name or anything like that. I'm just gonna say this, after, I was at Amy's event, that's when everything got started. I had a little beef at Amy's. I was in a lot of beefs at Amy's. And I said, who all you was beefing with at Amy's? I don't remember that. Maybe you had a little beef with Heather or something, IDK. But yeah. So Lisa feels like Bronwyn is accusing her, and Bronwyn says, I'm not accusing you of nothing. But I will say this, that I would feel devastated if I sat up there and apologized to you and then you still turned around and did that. Now, when Bronwyn says this, it gives that it could have been Lisa because of how Lisa did Angie. Angie legit apologized to her, right? And then what happened? She turned around and pulled a fucking stunt when they were supposed to be good. So this is definitely giving Lisa's MO. Be very clear about that. But we're going to keep going. So Lisa is like, I didn't do this to you. Let's go swimming, guys, because I'm really over this. Like, let's go swimming. Now, Whitney feels like she was telling on herself as well. And Lisa goes over there to talk to Heather, and she's like, this got spun. And Heather just looked at her and said, yeah, you're fucked, and walked off on her. As much as I love Heather from getting from up under Lisa's ass, Heather, we're going to have to get on to you, boo. So Brent is getting jealous of Heather and Jason flirting, right? And Heather says that she and Jason fucked around before. And I'm like, duh, we already knew that. And if Brittany didn't know it, she didn't, because it's like, girl, they spent a week together. I refuse to believe that y'all spent a full week together and didn't get it on. Heather couldn't believe it. She said that she wanted them to take that piece out, and I'm glad they didn't. We already knew what was going on anyway, right? But why is Heather pushing Britt to still talk to Jason? Like, why y'all be weird like that? Like, I don't be understanding it. Why do y'all push people to get to know and hunch on folks that y'all hunched on? Anyway, so Angie has a bad seasickness. Okay, so she over there throwing up everywhere. Lisa says Angie's so full of it that she makes her own self sick. I holler. I said, girl, y'all is tagging each other in these confessionals, right? Now, Bronwyn and Whitney talk about Lisa and how she didn't say that it was her, and she was telling on herself. Right? That's what they're talking about. Now, Bronwyn says the person exposing her on Twitter or wherever they were exposing her at, she says that the person used a particular word, which was conwin. She said Lisa said the same thing when they were at old girl's Amy's house or whatever, right? And they play a flashback, and what Lisa actually said was fraudwin. She didn't say conwin. However, they still are in the realm of the same damn thing. Yeah, just like Grand Theft Auto, grand theft, what was it, fraud and identity theft. Yeah, just like how all of that is a part of the same realm under the same penal code. Then guess what? So is conwin and fraudwin. They're all running in the same lines of it. So I understand why she feels like that could be Lisa, right? So that's that. However, this was a small turning point for me. Not too big of a turning point. But although I got Lisa here, I turned and I reached for Heather ass and I sat her right here. Okay, be very clear. I do feel like Heather may have labeled Bronwyn as conwin before Lisa said fraudwin. I could be wrong, but I feel like Heather has said this in a confessional or something. I feel like I've heard Conwin come out of her mouth before Lisa said Fraudwin, or maybe after she said Fraudwin, right? But I feel like when Heather said it, she could have been talking to somebody, or she wasn't talking to Bronwyn, I don't believe, or she could have been talking to her confessional. But for me, I feel like Conwin came out of Heather's mouth. Let's keep going. So Heather and Whit talked. They ended up talking, and Whit pretty much says every time Lisa mad at somebody, Lisa leaks tea on them. And Heather says, yeah, I agree. And she believes that Lisa keeps a scorecard on people, right? So then she starts highlighting different times that she's witnessed Lisa do certain things, right? Like Lisa giving info to other folks, Lisa talking to Bronwyn's jeweler, Lisa asking Amy, does she know anything about Bronwyn and stuff like that. So I'm just like, this is really, really interesting to me. Because this very well could be Lisa, but y'all, I don't know why something is screaming Heather to me. I don't know. Because y'all know Heather and Bronwyn have had an issue. They did sit down to smooth the things over. But one thing Heather will do, just as Heather did at the top of the episode when they was in the RV, they got out, the conversation came up about Lisa's issues, right? Heather sat there acting dumbfounded, like, oh my God, huh? What happened? She did wow. Who? Huh? Really? And Angie had to tell her, like, you know this. Like, girl, it was in the paper. Like, you know about this. Like, come on, cut it out. So much so that Meredith ended up exposing her too when she said, Lisa's already talked to us about this. She talked to me and Heather about it. But you see how Heather will sit there and play dumb? Something about that is not adding up. And then we also got to look at the fact that she ain't got no storyline. She ain't got nothing going on between her and Meredith. These two really, like, it's nothing going on for real. Whitney trying to get her business on track. Brittany still dealing with Jared and her children. Bronwyn, now she got these legal situations going on. Lisa got her own legal lawsuit shit going on. What is Meredith working on, Miss Attorney? Hello? And what the fuck has Heather brought to us? I don't care nothing about you redesigning your house or your room. Let's keep going because I don't know, y'all. I'm just giving y'all my thoughts. I do not know, girl. I'm just giving you my thoughts, okay? Now, again, I said it could be Lisa or it could be Heather because if you know Lisa exposes people, Heather. If you know that Lisa exposes people, Heather, then why would you put yourself in that same position to be exposed by her too? And with that, it just makes me question whether Heather has been behind a lot of the shit that has gotten out. I also question if Heather has shared information with Monica. These are just questions, right? Because all of a sudden she was so adamant with making sure that girl got off the show, doing research, trying to find out who she was, knowing the whole time you about knew who the fuck she was anyway. She's reality Von Teese. Making it this big surprising moment you did investigative work into her. That's when I think her and Lisa got cool as hell. And maybe it was a little bit before that. But what we are going to be very clear about for me is I feel like, I don't know, y'all, I'm thinking here, Heather can be calculated. She could sit back, chill. And I question whether Heather has been sitting here waiting on her damn get back on Lisa ass like all this time. I'm sure she developed some type of care for her. But Lisa was very dismissive to Heather for like what, the first season or two. And it's like, BIT, you trying to act like you don't even know who I am. And then now you're befriending her. But I'm wondering if every time she has an issue with somebody, this is a way for information or things to happen. And then it's easy to make it look like it's Lisa that's doing this because she's the one having direct conflict with that person and not Heather. Like, I don't know. I could be so wrong on this. It could totally be Lisa all the way down to the ground. But I can't rule out the thoughts that I'm having about Heather too. All right. So let's keep going. Heather wants to talk with Meredith about them believing that Lisa is the one giving out the information. And Meredith sits there like she unmoved. Like, y'all think she did this? Like, I don't know. Let me tell you, I ain't trying to have no issues with nobody. Like, me and her is good. Based on how she shown up to me, like, I ain't got no problem with her ass. But if that's what y'all want to be on, like, girl, who the hell am I? I'm not finna stop y'all today or tomorrow. Like, just go do your thing, girl. Like, it don't mean too much to me, hun. Okay? I'm just not I'm not finna get into that with y'all. All right? So then Meredith says that they are so worried about who planted the story and not about what Bronwyn did. And I'm like, why the fuck should they care about what Bronwyn did when Bronwyn's already talked to y'all about it? She's already talked to y'all about it. What else do you want her to say? She's already talked to y'all about what she did and didn't do. So, yeah, they should be worried about who the hell planted it. And when you say shit like that, it makes people wonder, did your ass do it? Y'all are so worried about, what she put, what she did or whatever, or who planted the story versus what she did. They just talked about it earlier. You want them to talk about it some more? Or bring up the questions that you feel of things you feel don't make sense. So Angie is missing dinner due to her being sick, and Mary gonna stay behind and eat with her. So Heather says that she misses Mary's commentary. Britt says, I don't, and Heather says we have a rule. You only can talk shit about a person in their face when they're here. And I said, girl, stop lying, because you talk plenty of shit and the person wasn't around. Shut up. So Britt says that she's the only one. What? I'm the only person that says how I feel to people's faces. Brahma said, oh, you do? You sure about that? Because we can get into some things, bitch. Matter of fact, why don't you tell the folks that you really do got an issue with what the hell really been on your mind? Tell them what's what. She ain't want to say it. So Brahma said, no problem. After they did the flashback, she said she feel like you always playing big sister to her, and she don't always want your motherfucking advice. You can shut the hell up talking to her. And then you be over here doing too damn much, acting like you got seizures and shit, and she don't know what the hell you got going on. She just feel like you fake as hell any damn way. Okay, so she just spilled all the tea, child. This leads to Meredith and Brittany getting into it and stuff, right? They arguing and stuff, and Meredith was like, I don't play about that seizure stuff. My child has actually had a seizure. Like, that's some shit that I don't do. And then here go Britt. She says it again. This is what I'm talking about. These type of seizures right here. You're overreacting. Baby, the way Meredith got that damn water and throwed it on her ass, said, you ain't got to be talking about Jared, bitch. Woo. I said, okay. So Britt tried to do it back to Meredith, but Meredith blocked it and the shit got on Bronwyn. I said, y'all come up. But let's be very clear, Bronwyn. I saw you, love. I feel like it was a little bit of deflection to make sure the girls don't bring up anything else about you so that you have to re-talk about the same thing you already talked about, right? You wanted to make sure that you got something else started between Lisa and Britt, Meredith and Britt, and you already don't like Britt your damn self. So I felt like I saw a little bit of a play there with you, Miss Brown, and I'll be clear. All right. And I'm like, why are you exposing her like this when you know you got to share a room with her anyway? But okay. So Heather says everyone needs to own their things and what all they've done. And Whitney said, well, I think that you should own something. And Meredith, she was like, yeah, y'all remember we was in the room talking? And then Meredith said, yeah, y'all should talk about it. She said, you were a part of that conversation too. And she said, yeah, I was. However, I would have had to get Whitney together. BIT, I was a part of that conversation, but don't act like I was a part of the conversation like your ass, okay? Be very clear. I was more so on, I don't know what the hell going on. If she did it, it may be a problem. We need to talk about it, but I'm not going to accuse her of doing it if I don't damn know. So don't act like I was a part of the conversation as you're saying, boo. So Heather says, girl, I'm going to be real, okay? I'm just going to be real. If you're wondering what's going on, Lisa, bitch, I feel like it's you. I feel like you're the source of it all. And Lisa says, why are y'all even questioning me? And Whit said, it's like you always got the Tito. You always got the information on people. So we be thinking that it's you. And Lisa says, Meredith, girl, you had better had my fucking back. That's one thing I do know. You had better had my back. So Meredith's explaining to her how it went down. And then Lisa says, I'm not the source. People just come and tell me stuff. Now I'm responsible. Partly. I feel like that could be telling on yourself too. People tell you things. You are a part of the source, ma'am. You're a source within this group because people coming to you with the information and then somehow it's getting out. Interesting. So Lisa says that she's never dug up dirt on these ladies. Girl, stop lying. We literally watched you on the couch last year dig up information and expose it about Bronwyn last year. Like, stop fucking lying. So Whit tries to go near Lisa, and Lisa said, do not come near me. Don't you come over here. Whitney's like, I'm coming. I'm going to come near you. Why would you do that? Like, scoot back up off this lady. Lisa says you guys will have nothing to feed off of if I'm not here. I said, ooh. oh my. So she goes to Heather and tells Heather, you know everything that I know. Another one, you know everything that I know. This right here is also giving like, damn, Heather. Damn, Heather. Is it you? Because you also know the same shit that Lisa know. You may not know everything, but you know a good bit. And keep in mind, you did not like fucking Bronwyn. And one of those seasons, I think last season, Whitney was getting on your damn nerves too. Whitney was irritating you just like Heather ass was irritating you. So this is why I'm sorry, yeah, just like Lisa was irritating let me go back. I felt like Whitney was irritating Heather just like Lisa is irritating Heather now. Right? So when I look back at this stuff, I'm starting to wonder, is the person Heather? And then you don't like Bronwyn like that for real, for real. You just don't. Even though you've sat in her face before and y'all gonna be cool, and then something happens and y'all you get in your feelings, and then now y'all having another talk. Like, huh? I don't know. So Lisa says that she's not owning. Right, so it's complete chaos. Everybody arguing. Lisa says that she's not owning SHI because she's not the source. Like, I'm not gonna own that. So Heather doubles down on Lisa being the source, and Lisa said, "Well, damn, if you feel that way, I can't be your friend." Heather gonna say, "Are you serious?" Yeah. You can't sit here and accuse a friend of doing stuff like that and think that I'm supposed to still be friends with you. If you feel that way, why would you even want to be friends with me if you feel like I'm gonna expose your tea? So I can't believe I'm slightly defending Lisa just a little bit. But like, yeah, like you can't do that. And it goes back to what I said earlier. If you know that Lisa is the type of person that exposes tea, then why would you put yourself in a position for her to likely expose yours too? Because y'all finna be on the outs. Make it make sense a little bit. I'm starting to wonder, did Heather do all of this, y'all? I'm sorry. And I know I said, at first, like, Lisa did it. Lisa did it. And I might go back to saying Lisa did it if something shows me more that she did. Right now, they both standing at the front. And when I tell you Heather is in first place right now, it's really giving like this. This is Heather. Okay? That's what it's giving. She's in the lead right now. You're in first place. So Heather tells her that she is spinning the story herself because I believe Lisa said, "You're spinning the story." Heather said, "You're spinning the story yourself, you moron." I said, the fact that you just called your quote unquote friend a moron. I feel like that's harsh. She probably would have took bitch better than moron, but damn. Okay. So Heather tells Lisa to get off the boat if she won't listen to her. And so she was like, "All right, bet I'll be happy to go." Then she turned around like, "Really? That's what you want? You want me to leave? Is that what you really want?" And Heather's like, "I've been a good friend to you." And Lisa said, "No, no, no. Being a good friend to me, a good friend is not telling me to own some shit that you know I did not do." I couldn't, I don't know, y'all. I don't know. I couldn't disagree with her a little piece. Cause I'm like, yeah, a friend, like, that's not how that's gonna go. And it's given that Heather ain't your friend this year. You know who friend Heather is? Angie's. It's looking like she's become more of Angie's friend. Right? And when I reflect back, sometimes I feel like Heather aligns herself to me a little bit, as I don't know, y'all could be so wrong. I'm just giving y'all my thoughts. I feel like she aligns herself with who she feels like is the at the top for the show. I feel like one season she tried to be close to Mary, right? Mary was like this big important person on the show. Or I mean, maybe they tried to. I mean, I feel like she was a focal point at one point. Then you got Jen Shaw, who also was like a focal point. You befriended her, that fell out. Now you cool with Lisa because Lisa's in the front now, right? Now it's shifting, and Angie is being in the front. She's getting more traction. Now it seems like you're leaning more towards Angie's side. And I could be wrong, but based on what I'm being shown on television, that's how it looks to me. And it's just something that's off. Okay. Now that's that, right? So Lisa's emotional. She's crying. She goes call her husband. Britt tries to console her at some point in the night, and she's like telling Britt to get the hell up off her and just leave. Heather runs to Angie and Mary crying, telling them what happened, and they commended her, telling her, "You gotta say something because it is her." Now here's the thing too. When I hear this from Mary and Angie, it made me feel like this. I feel like two things could be true. Maybe Lisa and Heather have both played roles at different times with different situations. because I feel like Heather does know enough about Lisa to know that this is her MO. And I believe Meredith Ass does too. She knows enough about it, but I believe that they may have talked it out to not go that route again with each other or something. And then also just the different things that I've told you guys in this video about Heather makes me feel like it could be Heather. So Brittany tried to later on that night get her Mac on, right? Let me go back. No, yeah, Brittany tried to get her Mac on with the captain. Talking about, can he get her a tour? And he was like, yeah, not tonight, maybe in the morning. He's like, I've been up since 4 a.m. She's like, oh, okay, I just hoping so. Yeah, because you're trying to put that cootie twat on that man. It's disgusting. Call your fucking daughters and make sure they're alive. You get on my nerves. So Heather runs to Angie to check and Mary, and they were crying. I mean, she was crying and all of that. And eventually she leaves out after they encouraged her, and she tries to go find Lisa to have a conversation and stuff. So I don't know how they're gonna make up with each other, but I'm sure some making up is gonna happen, because in the previews for the next episode, it looks like Lisa is still gonna be there after she cried to John and tell him to come pick her up. So I don't know, but I don't know. Y'all let me know who y'all feel like is the scheme. Okay, whose scheme is it that came to us to set us up with this bullshit? Who do you feel like is the person? That's all I got. I'm Jamie, that's me, and y'all know I'll catch y'all in the next one. Bye.
Yeah, tell them I preach to the choir. Stand with my feet to the fire. Give all the glory to God. Stand in the midst of these haters, I'm silent, nobody can stop me. Just gotta check in my notification, them numbers hit like it's a proxy. Cashed out at the ATM, and the ATL, they done made a gym. I've been kicking doors like the ATF, got them trying to clone me like Agent Smith. Game time, I invaded gym, high elevated, I can face the rim. Putting shots up, I got laser focus, about to take it over, I'm Invader Zim. On a trip to Florida like it's A&M. Who that nigga, man, they say I'm him. Spit the truth, never wasting film, I can feel it.